Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Farm Charm Chic. I'm Emily and I like to give you DIY inspiration. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, I would love if you would consider doing so. Just hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. I have some awesome patriotic DIYs for you today because today I am doing a patriotic open challenge with Teresa B DIY and Unicorn Dust Designs, and I'll talk more about that later, but let's get started. I absolutely love this project. I think you're gonna like this one too. It's super fun and super easy. So I take these two squares that are from a pack of 5 or 6 wood squares that you can get at Dollar Tree, and it's 5 or 6 in a pack for $1. And I'm gonna paint one of them white and then the other one blue. And I give them each a couple of coats just to make sure that they're completely covered and look really good. And I do front and back on them both. I found these cute little shape puzzles at Dollar Tree and grabbed them specifically to do something for 4th of July because I love those little star shapes. So I'm going to use 3 of those stars and I'm going to coat both of them, or all 3 of them, not both, there's 3. All 3 of them in white paint. I then tape off 2 stripes on my one white board there and then paint the negative space red, so that way I'm going to have red and white stripe, if that makes sense. So you can see I'm taking that tape off, so I'm left with some stripes there. If you have watched me ever before, you know I do like to distress things. I distress every single thing almost, and so I do give this really good sanding with my emery board to clear all of those edges off, give them that really roughed up and weathered look. And then I do the same thing with my blue. Give all of the corners some good attention to make this look really weathered. Of course, this is completely optional and personal. This is going in my home, so I'm decorating it how I like to see my things look. So that you can see what I'm going to do with the stars there. Obviously, this is coming together. I found this little ampersand sign at Walmart. I believe 97 cents was what the price was. It could have been $1.97. I'm not 100% sure, guys, but it was less than $2. But I want my stars to match, so I do take some mineral chalk paint and paint each of those stars to give them that weathered look to kind of match that ampersand. And so I'm using some super glue as well as hot glue on that, so that way I can make sure it's going to hold, because this is what's holding everything together. And there we go, I placed that down and I did glue all those stars down. And I'm just showing you can use some twine to use it like as a door hanger on a wreath, or you can use some Jenga blocks on the back of it to have it stand, or you can just have it like on a tiered tray just to kind of lean up against something. I did take some jute twine and made a cute little twine bow, and there you go, you have stars and stripes. I think this is going to be so cute in my 4th of July decor. Let me know down in the comments if you were to make this, where you would put this. I'm going to do a patriotic take on the little chain links that I have seen in a lot of decorating recently. So I'm going to take 3 embroidery hoops that I have and take the inner ring of those, and any size will work that you want. These are what I think the second smallest size that I could at least find at Hobby Lobby. And I did cut one of them open, so that way you'll be able to fit the other 2 links onto it. And I just use wire cutters. However, scissors would probably make a much better cut. I was just too lazy to go upstairs to get my big scissors because they had been taken upstairs for some reason. So I just had wire cutters and they worked, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you've got scissors, they will cut right through these, so use that. And then I'm just going to use red, white, and blue. Like I said, everything today is doing a patriotic theme, but I am doing this because I thought that would kind of be a little bit of fun way to bring the red, white, and blue in, a little subtle. But you could do these in any color that you wanted to match your decorating. You wouldn't have to do them patriotic. You could even leave them the natural color of the embroidery hoop if you wanted to. After these dry completely, you can then take your center ring, open it up a little bit. You can see it's got a lot of flexibility there. And then I'm just going to link these two on there. And then I'm going to take, and I don't think hot glue would work the best for this. I think it might leave a little bit too much space. So I just use a little bit of super glue. I believe, I can't remember if I got this at Dollar Tree or if I got this at Walmart, but it's just some little off brand of super glue. Now, because my cut had a little bit of jaggedness to it from using the wire cutters, I'm using a little bit of spackling to kind of give it a smooth look. The whole idea of these is to make it look like they're all linked together seamlessly. And then of course I just sand to kind of smooth out where I did that little bit of spackling. And then you know what I have to do. If you don't want to distress things, stop right now. But of course I have to go in and distress everything. So I'm taking a little bit of mineral chalk paint and I'm just going in to give them a little bit of a worn, weathered look. And then I do go in with my little, you can use a sanding block. Obviously this is just an emery board, and I go through on all of the edges, give a little bit of a distressed look. I think these are going to be such a fun addition to my 4th of July and patriotic decor. I think they look great sitting in a tray. They'd be fun on a tiered tray as well. I don't know. I'm really happy with how these turned out. What do you guys think about them? Today's video is a special one because it is part of a Patriotic Open Challenge that is being hosted by Teresa over at Teresa B DIY and co-hosted by Sammy at Unicorn Dust Designs. As usual, you guys, their links to the channel is going to be down in my description box, so make sure you check both of them out. But more importantly, this month, all of Teresa's proceeds that she makes from YouTube are going directly to a foundation called the Fisher House Foundation. Now, if you're like me and have never heard of the Fisher House before, I'm going to leave a link to their organization down in my description box, but it is just fisherhouse.org. Basically, they're a military organization that helps out military families that may have special needs or dealing with hard times. So you can go ahead and scroll down on their website and you can see there's a little box here that says learn more. Click on that and you'll learn all that you need to know. Again, that link is going to be down in my description box. So I bought some of this air dry clay at Dollar Tree and I've been trying to think of what to do with it. And I thought it'd be fun to do a beaded garland. So I just got a star shape. A cookie cutter would work super easy to do this. I just cut one out with my Cricut and then used my little X-Acto knife to trim around it. I then take some water and spray on the top of it to kind of smooth it out, kind of make those cracks disappear a little bit. And I do that to the front and as well as the back. I then take a paintbrush that has a small sized end to it and I kind of make a little bit of a hole in there because I'm going to feed my jute twine through there after I do the beaded garland. I laid my pattern out that I wanted here. I wanted a bunch of natural beads, some blue beads and some red beads. And I had a viewer leave me a message on one of my, or comment on one of my videos to try this tip when painting beads. So I just put a little bit of paint into a Ziploc bag and kind of mushed them around, and here we go. I was actually quite impressed with how well the coverage got. It wasn't super goopy. Maybe start with a little bit of paint. You can always add more into it. I got a little carried away with the blue, but I'll show you how I fixed that. But you just kind of rub them around, make sure they're all covered really good. So these were a little bit goopy when they came out, so I took just a baby wipe and I set it on top of them and then just kind of rolled them all around, and that did take off all the excess, and you can see they look really good. So definitely a tip that I'm going to be using in the future. So I thread these on then in the pattern that I had sitting out. And as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, I don't love the way the natural beads look, mostly because I'm going to be painting my star white and I want them to match that more. So I probably should have just put those natural beads in with some white paint in a bag and done the same technique with those. However, I didn't. I was a little too lazy to take it apart. So I just went ahead and took my natural beads. I kind of scooted the other beads away from one another. That way I had a little bit of space to work with. And I just went ahead and dry brushed on each of these just to brighten them up a little bit. And then I wasn't so concerned if some of the white got on the other beads because I felt like, of course, it just gave a little bit of a distressed look on there. And then I do just go ahead and tie off each end. I do take some of this blue baker's twine that I found at Dollar Tree and then my Amazon red baker's twine, which I'll link below down in my description box. But I do just wrap those around my hand quite a few times. And then I do take some jute twine and wrap on top of that, so that way it's kind of a blended tassel. After you've got your loop of your tassel, you're just going to tie that end onto the beaded garland. And then after you get that all affixed there, you're going to take another piece of twine and go down maybe a quarter of the way to tie it off. This is what's going to give this the traditional tassel shape. And then you will just wrap it around however many desired times and tie that off. And then I do use my glue gun to make sure that that is affixed and not coming off. I am going to give each side of this star a very good coat of my white chalk paint. You can use whatever color you want. You can do it red or blue, or if you're doing a non-patriotic theme, do it whatever color you would like. I do want to mention that you do want to let this clay dry for at least 24 hours. And then I do just feed my tassel through. I left the little bit of twine on the end there so I could feed that through. And here we go. I hung it off one of my lantern that I did a few weeks ago, and I think this looks super cute. And I do just want to say, I feel this goes without saying, but let's say it anyway. If you hang a tassel off of here, you are not going to burn a candle. You're going to use a battery operated candle, okay? But I just think this turned out so cute. I love it. It's going to be so fun either hanging from my lantern here or a tiered tray. I think this would also be something really fun that you could do with your kids or grandkids. I found this sign at my local thrift store. It came from Hobby Lobby. You can tell it's brand new. It's never been used. I tried to peel that front off, but no such luck. So I did take my emery board and I go around all of the edges to make sure that it won't peel off at a later time. That way, when I paint over this, the edges aren't going to start curling up, if that makes sense. So I just go around all of the edges. I then give this 2 really good coats of, I believe I'm using plaster is the color that I'm using. Obviously you can use whatever color you want. And I do go over the edges on this as well to kind of give them a little bit of coverage also. I found this really cute cut file, the SVG, online, and I will go ahead and leave a link down in my description box to it if you decide to use it. So if you do make this project, you are going to need some type of cutting machine, either a Cricut or a Silhouette. And I do cut it out of both the red and the blue. You need the 2-tone there. And then I just kind of center it with my sign. I, again, have lost my little scrapey tool for my Cricut, so I'm down to using an old hotel key card that I have. But I do scrape that down, and then as I peel this back slowly, I'm just making sure that everything is coming off okay. So you just take your time peeling this off. This is sped up a little bit so you can kind of tell how slow I really do go. And then I really want this to look so old and distressed. I found one online that I thought was super cute that was very similar to this, but it was very, very weathered looking. I think the lady that was selling them was charging like $80 for them. So I think when I bought this cut file, it was $3.50, and then I paid $2 for the sign at my thrift store. So I feel like I'm doing pretty good. So I do go through and sand all of the, wherever there is white paint at, I sand and try to make it look really weathered. I don't care that below you can kind of see the old sign coming through the colors of that. I actually like the way that looks. So if you're not a fan of that, you can always go back over. If you weren't able to get your thing off the front of the sign, you can go back over with your base color of paint to cover that up. So again, I just go all the way around, I sand a bunch and get this really nice and weathered looking. I do go in with the original base color and I do dry brush over the top of the vinyl. That way it gives the vinyl a good weathered look. Obviously you can do this as a stencil and kind of sand that down and do the same thing. I felt this was a very intricate design to do as a stencil, however. And then I do also go in with a little bit of mineral color to kind of give it a little bit even more of an aged or distressed look. I really just wanted this to look old and weathered, if that makes sense. Obviously, if you don't want that, you'll just leave it with the vinyl on there and not age it at all. But I think this turned out so cute and so fun. I don't know if I'm going to put this on my porch or where I'm going to hang this in my house, but I am so in love with this. I think this might actually be my favorite project of today. So you'll have to let me know down in the comments what you think of this. I would love if you guys came and said hi to me over on my Instagram page. It's just Farm Charm Chic. You can see from my fun photos that I just keep an update of all the things that I'm working on, ways I'm decorating, all sorts of things. So definitely come say hi. I would love to see you over there. For this project, I needed a heart shape cut out of wood. Now you can find heart shapes cut out of wood at Walmart, at Hobby Lobby. You can even find them at Dollar Tree. I did not have any of those, so I decided that I would make my own. I've become such a fan of using my jigsaw that I just took a heart template, you could freehand it, and I just went ahead and traced it onto some MDF board and then cut it out. I recently burned up the motor in my sander, and so I had to hand sand all of these edges. You definitely, when you're cutting MDF board, want to make sure that you do kind of round all the edges there. It sands super easy, so it didn't really matter that I was using it with my hand. I didn't even have a sanding block or anything. I just went ahead with regular sandpaper and just went around softening all of the edges of this and giving it almost like a carved out of wood look. I then took it back into my studio and I got some white paint, and I give this 2 to 3 really good coats of any white paint just to give it that base color. I did have a star wood shape from Dollar Tree, so I just cut the tassel off that, and I'm using my spackling to fill in that hole where the tassel, the jute twine was. And then I am also going to give this 2 to 3 really good coats of white paint. Again, this is just giving this a base color. I'm going to paint some white stripes onto this heart, so I lay my spacer piece of painter's tape down and then lay my 2 tapes that I'm using to block the paint from, if that makes sense. You can see how I'm doing that all the way down. I make sure all of my edges are pushed down really well, and then I do my pounce method where I pounce the paint onto all of the edges and let that dry as I'm painting, if that makes sense. You can kind of see what I'm doing here on each of the edges. After I have pounced along all of the edges, I then go in and fill all of the negative space in with the red paint. I give this 2 coats of red paint everywhere that I want the stripes to be, both on the edge and on the front. Now comes the satisfying and fun part of taking the paint off to see how well your stripes did. I remove all of the tape here. And there's always room that if you need to go in and fix, you can go in and fix an area if you had a little bit of bleed through. I then am taking some vinyl star cutouts that I cut out with my Cricut. You could use star stickers, or you could even freehand stars on here. And I pounced the blue paint on top of all of the vinyl stickers that are on there, and I do paint the front and back of this sign. Now, if you're one that likes crisp, clean lines and no distressing, then definitely don't do this step, but I love everything distressed and farmhouse, and I absolutely love the way that the red paint looks with the white underneath it when you sand it down. So I do just go ahead and sand down all of the edges. I do want to mention that if you want to go ahead and paint stripes on the back, definitely do that. For the sake of time in doing this, I did not do that, and where it's going to be placed in my home, you are not going to see the back of it. I do take the star stickers off of this blue star, and then I do de-stress this. So of course, if you don't want to do that, obviously don't. But as you can see here, I love the way that this chalk paint sands when you have the white paint underneath it. I feel like it really does give it that old Americana type style, like definitely farmhouse, something that's been sitting out on your porch for a while and been weathered. We're going to place the star on top of the heart, but first I'm going to take some antique wax with some water, and I just flip a little bit of that on. I feel this just kind of gives it another little bit of visual, my goodness, I can't talk, visual interest. And I take some twine and wrap it around my star. I do it about 4 times, and then I just tie it off in the back. And then I do have this cute little bow with rosette that I got from Hobby Lobby that I'm just going to glue onto the front there. And then I also glue the star down on top of the heart. I think this would be so cute either on your front door. You could just set it up as just on a shelf somewhere. It would be cute on a porch. I absolutely love this. I set this on top of my china hutch, and I think it looks absolutely adorable. So fun to give that stars and stripes look to any patriotic decor. I am definitely someone who loves decorating for different holidays, but there is something about summer and patriotic decorations that really just melts my heart. I love it, and I go out every year all out for 4th of July, Memorial Day, Flag Day, for all of it. So I'm very curious to know down in the comments if that's something that you do, or if maybe you just don't do anything at all. I don't know, but we do a lot at our house. So I'm very happy to find a home for all of these new items that I have made to put into my 4th of July decor. I would love for you to check out all of the links that I have for you down in my description box for the playlist for today, for Teresa and Sammy's channels, and also the Fisher House. I thank you so much for joining me today, and enjoy the rest of the playlist. I would love if you guys could give this video a thumbs up. That way it will get it in front of more people's eyes, and they can learn about the Fisher House and this amazing fundraising adventure that Teresa is doing. And as I say to my kids every day, remember to be safe, be smart, be nice, be happy. Choose to have a good day, because you are amazing. If you enjoyed the video that you just saw, here's another one that you might enjoy. And as always, remember to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and have an amazing day.